broken wrist. La la la. Anyway, oh, just a second. I'm gonna turn on this light. It's a little dark in here. Even if we have the sun shining. Yes, and if you're looking behind this, the house is a mess. Because the house is a mess. Anyway, so what's up? Today we have the Disney earnings call, and I am very, very interested to seeing where it's going to go. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch the whole thing because my husband's birthday today. Hey, just some other guy, and instead of making dinner here like I usually do, we're going to his mother's house, which won't be fun dragging this along. Did I tell you I lost about 10 pounds? Anyway, through all this, anyway, which feels pretty good. The dog is driving me crazy. I might, if I scream at him, just whatever. Let's talk about this. First off, Bob Iger really doesn't have any room to maneuver. He's stuck. Disney, when you look at, when you look at what they're up against, they've lost billions of dollars. They're now going to probably have to contend with a strike. The Disney Star Wars Hotel has failed. The licenses for Star Wars products are not going as well because Hasbro, etc., probably doesn't want to try to sell characters if they're the sequel trilogy. Okay. And Iger's also got the Norman Peltz investors proxy war going on. This is a big damn deal. And I'll tell you something again, this is something that Bob Iger brought on himself. Okay. He brought it on himself. He was the one that had to go out and take Disney's credit card and run up the balance, run up the debt on it, buying 20th Century Fox Studios and Fox Searchlight for $70 million. Okay, he was the one that did that, and Disney has not used those properties, that catalog at all. I mean, when I look at what Fox or what 20th Century Studios, they're not doing anything. Okay, I think the only film that I've seen come out of theirs was Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford. And I looked up, and it was probably part of his contract to do Indiana Jones that that movie would be released. But a lot of the movies that Fox had in the hopper were either canceled or are just sitting on a shelf somewhere. You don't see any of their properties on the Fox properties on any of the streaming services, Hulu, or anything. Okay, it's very strange to me that you buy a company that is that big and that important and then not do anything with it. Okay, it's just like, what'd you do that for? Anyway, so it's one of those things where I really think we have to be very careful about how we look at things going into the spring. Okay, the investors meeting is in April. I don't know where it is yet, and this proxy war won't be over by then. Okay, and I'm going to tell you something. If you think Nelson Peltz is tilting at windmills here, he's not. Every time he's tried to do this, he's been 99.9% successful at getting a seat on a board. Okay. There are also other investors, I am sure, that support him. All right. He's not doing this on an island. If you remember back this last summer, I did talk about Dan Loeb. Hey, John, who runs the Third Option hedge fund. He's an activist investor, just like Nelson Peltz. Okay, so he probably is part of this too. Okay. When we look at what Iger has done since he was suddenly brought back under mysterious circumstances again, if you buy the spin that the rags are putting out there of why they got rid of Chapek, I don't know what dope you're smoking, but keep it away from me. Okay. Reason why I say this, none of this stuff gets that was going on when Chapek was CEO with the ESGs and the LGBTQ XYZ, I don't give a fuck, minority screaming, met the criteria to fire the man on a Sunday evening at an Elton John concert. It just didn't. So, obviously, there's more to it than what we see. Okay? There's more to it. And I think we've got to be very skeptical. Like, look, okay, if CNN or CBS or somebody puts out a story about the Chinese spy balloon that, you know, whatever, don't believe them. And this is the same thing. It does. If it doesn't smell the smell, look. If your gut says this is wrong, this is bullshit. It is. Okay. It's kind of like right up there with the Daisy Ridley shows up at Lucasfilm, and now the sky is falling, and she's gonna make a movie with Grogu. It's like, what? No. Why? Because why? Where did that come from? You know, I'm not skeptical of some people's contacts because I know that they're legit. But when you come up with this, and it's fine, it's based on circumstantial evidence, you got to sit back and say, wait a minute. Is this feasible for what's going on right now at Disney? No, it's not. And second of all, you know, I remember, God, this is last summer. I think there was a YouTube channel saying they were looking down at Galaxy's Edge and realized it wouldn't cost them hardly anything to re-skin Galaxy's Edge for the original trilogy and Mando, because really it's kind of like, you know, there's part one, the prequels, part two, the original trilogy, part three, Mandoverse, or whatever they're gonna call it. Oh, that's true, but it's the thing about it is, who are these people? I mean, to me, when I looked at those rumors, like, did it come from Star Wars Mag, Mike Zero, the janitor at, you know, Animal Kingdom and at, you know, Disney? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and really when you look at Galaxy's Edge and you're looking at it, it was started out as Tatooine. It was started out as the original trilogy. So really, signs can be changed. The cast can jump into new costumes, and you have the Skywalker saga. Okay, you actually have really what it is. Okay, and my hand is hurting again. Oh, this is fun. This is not fun. It is a wave of pain that goes through and then it stops. And I have a feeling it's going to be happening. And this thing here is not comfortable. Okay, it's a bear to try to sleep with. I'm actually now able to kind of sleep on my left side, which I was really worried I wouldn't be able to for a while, so that helped. But anyway, so you really got to be careful about this stuff, okay? It just, you just have to be, okay? Because people are depending on you to do the right thing. It's about like a 1 right now, but just a second ago it was like a 4. It'll come. It's a nerve pain now, and when this thing comes off and we start doing rehab, it's gonna hurt like a motherfucker. Um, I don't. What did you say, Orange Grove? Let me look. Okay. It'll be interesting to see what they say about Hulu. I know a lot of people don't think they'll ever sell, ESPN, but I think we're at a point now when I really start thinking about how bad it actually is. We could see, I mean, hell, we were talking about Disney selling itself off to Apple not too long ago. Okay. And I mean, look, that's still out there. That idea is still out there. Okay. So, and that happened right after Chapek was dismissed. And oh, by the way, may I remind the naysayers, dismissed with no cause. No cause. And I would think if he was throwing a temper tantrum about ESGs and Reimagine Tomorrow, that there would be something like did not get along well with the staff or something like that. There would be a cause there, but they didn't. And that's something we need to remember going into all this. Okay. So, we'll see where this goes. I'm actually looking forward to it because thank you, Orange Grove. That's very kind of you. It's going to be very interesting to see where Iger goes with this. I'm going to probably be watching it on Sci-Fi for You. Hopefully he won't talk over it. I want to hear what Iger has to say. Look, these earnings calls can be really boring. He's not going to say anything that's going to make the investors scared. But the people that we're talking about, the people that have shares, that have voting shares, are the ones that have to be concerned. Okay, they're the ones that get to, look, I hate to tell you guys this, the naysayers. The board doesn't run the company. The shareholders do. Okay, and as into ESGs as BlackRock wants us to believe they are, and that comes from their own investors, a few of them, and Vanguard used to be. They're not as much anymore. I think we're probably going to see something unusual come out of Disney in the next 2 or 3 months. Okay, it is what it is. They don't have a choice. Layoffs are coming. I saw story group members showing pictures of their badges on Twitter just yesterday, and scratching my head going, again, behavior. Why? It's like the Wikipedia running around adding pronouns to characters' bios when it isn't needed. Okay. And then blocking people who are mocking them for it. Why? Now, they blocked me and I called them out. But still, when you think about it, why? People behave in a certain way if they're afraid, if they're angry. Okay? People behave in a certain way if they're worried. Okay? And it's fascinating. Probably nothing to, Phil Sozak showing off his employment badge. Probably nothing to it. Maybe there is something to it. That's the way you gotta look at it. But still, with everything going on with Disney, with the layoffs coming, with the economic downturn, etc., it's going to be very interesting going forward how Lucasfilm is affected. Okay. The Kathleen Kennedy thing. She's not leaving until she wants to, or until the investors say get her the fuck out of there. All right. They're the most important people there. I'm an investor. I want her gone. I wanted her gone. I wanted her gone in 2018 for crying out loud. All right. She's 70 years old. So her time is coming. Okay. And I think it's going to be part of the big changes. Back in the 80s, and now it's really funny. It was a memory that somebody brought back that had talked about this before Michael Eisner and I think it was Katzenberg, Jeffrey Katzenberg came in and saved it. That there was somebody after Roy Disney was kicked out wanted to sell Disney piecemeal, sell it off piece by piece, and they were stopped. Look, guys, this is worse. Okay, Joe Biden and Wall Street can scream about job losses slowing down, but they're not. Okay, we are in a recession. Okay, you'll never hear the mainstream media say it because all they want to do is protect Joke and Joe. But I'll say it. Okay, gas is back up. We got people in certain parts of the country that are telling me they're spending $8 a dozen for eggs. Really? So the inflation, okay, that's going to affect hospitality and service, the hospitality industry, and the service industry. You know. Oh yeah, that was bad, Mazars. You're right. So Disney is going to be affected by that. Okay, it's going to affect how people go to see movies. The studios are going to be affected by that. Okay. And my thing is, if you don't put something out that people want to see, you're not going to make your money back. Okay. And that's just the bottom line. Okay. That's just the way it is. And I got to sit slumped over to hold this. It is, I think, imperative for people to understand that's where we are right now, despite Biden's bullshitting on the State of the Union address. You know, everybody knows it's bullshit. Okay, everybody knows. All right, we gotta remember that. Okay, and there's no amount of rationalization from the left or even from people on our side who don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, look, if you run into a failure, something like what we're seeing right now with the economy, don't look at it as the end. It is the beginning. Every bad thing about this is an opportunity to change things and to make it better. Okay. Woke is on its way out. Now, again, I'm going to say this a lot of people out there really, actually, I really think, believe that we're still in 2018. You know, we're not. The economy has changed. The world has changed. Peak woke was 2018. It's not that anymore. Okay. So, and we're in the final re. Okay. You know, and I look, even the Democrats, when you see people like Bill Maher and others going, this woke shit is bullshit. Okay. You see that they're having a very difficult time convincing their own of this now. Okay. Why? Because it's irrelevant. It doesn't work and it's dangerous. Okay. There are people. Yeah, well, 2018. I mean, look, there are people on, the woke side who, this is all they got. This is their religion, okay? There are people on our side who need the boogeyman, okay? And they need Kathleen Kennedy where she is. They need Joe Biden where he is. Because they need something to go after, okay? And they will go after us if we stand up and say, stop it. Okay, look, if you come here and criticize me, and you're not attacking me personally, I probably won't get mad. But if you come here and attack me personally, I probably will get mad. All right. When I say, look, you need to have different voices, and you need to understand that we're not in the same place we were 5 years ago. I mean, we're literally in a different era now. You're eventually going to run into a brick wall because people are going to say, this is, we're not living in that world anymore. And there are a lot of people out there that still think we are. Okay. And that, I think, hurts prognosticators like us. It hurts the fandom. It hurts the wokesters and us. Okay. Look, I'm on Twitter. I follow a group called Gays Against Groomers. And this girl is the one that runs it. And what she's worried about is the woke assholes. Like that guy on TikTok who goes on there every day trying to get little kids to cut their privates off and become something they're not. I can't think of what his name is, but I gotta ask if the FBI, why aren't you talking to him? Why don't you confiscate his laptop? I would arrest him. I would do a public arrest of him and have the FBI come and take him away. He is a very bad man. Okay. And he's in there on TikTok trying to groom little kids. The people at the Gays Against Groomers community called him out. Now they're being called by the wokesters homophobes and all this. It's like, I have my friend Bruce Carroll. He was the one that created Log Cabin Republicans. I've been friends with him for over a decade. He had a guy yelling at him because he's a gay man who supports the military, supports the Second Amendment. Okay. This is the thing that people like Bruce and a lot of others, like my friend Charlie, worried about. The backlash from regular people are like, all right, get the fuck out of here. Here's the closet, go back in it. Okay. That's what this woke shit is doing, is it's going to create a backlash. And you already see it. Okay. You see it in Dearborn, Michigan, where Muslim parents are going to the school board saying, you're not teaching our kids that. And they're getting together with Catholic parents and parents of other Christian denominations going, you're not teaching our kids that shit. Okay. This is the thing. You didn't see that a little of it back in 2018, but now you're seeing it everywhere. You're seeing legislation against mutilating, against laws against mutilating kids in their teens. All right. I just read where some person had been convinced that he was she was a tranny, killed herself because she realized the operation didn't change anything. Okay, look, it's like Madonna's the perfect example of trying to stay youthful. Okay, and she's not. Look at her. She looks like that horror villain with, do you want to play a game, dude? I can't even remember what it's called because I don't want to watch horror. She looks terrible. Okay, absolutely terrible. Her face is so swollen that she looks like an overly inflated inner tube. Jigsaw. Yeah, Maze. Jigsaw. She does. And yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, Billy the puppet from Jigsaw. That's what she looks like. You know, she's now wearing. She was a hot mess when Like a Virgin came out, and now the hot mess is on her face. Okay, and if anybody believes that she didn't uh, get it up and real cozy with the demon, you bet your sweet Bippy she did. Okay, she's a lost soul. All right. But this is about what's going on with Disney. And I mean, look, there are a lot of people like that at Disney that were hired under Iger. And those people are probably going to be the first to go. And but they have to be because Disney won't be the powerful company it is if they don't. Universal is eating their lunch right now with the theme parks and even animation. Which, how weird is it? Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's very strange that Universal is beating Disney with animation. All right, but think about it. Turning Red. What was that? Strange Worlds. Trash. The Universal stuff that came out is fantastic. All right. Puss in Boots, The Ninth Life or whatever. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I probably will. It looks hilarious. But see, here's the thing. Disney, woke is not whimsical. Woke isn't fun. Woke doesn't take you to an adventure. Woke is miserable. Woke is sad. Woke is angry. Woke is not good storytelling. Okay. It's just not. And Disney's finding that out. And it's boring. And I think it's evil. Okay. I mean, but that's the Catholic in me looking at what's gone on with Madonna and a lot of the stuff like from the Grammy Awards. Now look, Motley Crue did it better. Okay, I'm just saying Motley Crue did it better. And they weren't serious about it. Alice Cooper does it better. And he's a Christian. Yeah, well, woke is very narrow. It is very narrow and limiting. I mean, look, I know teenage girls, one's in college now, she's 19, who haven't dated yet. Yep, it's true. That's true, Cross. Neither of them have. Woke in schools is taking away relationships. It's taking away natural instinct. Okay, and it's wrong and it's actually dangerous. Okay, it's very, when you see girls that are 19 years old that are so anxious that they're pulling their hair out of their heads and they consume all the food around them and they don't know how to relate to boys. I look at the teachers and say, what were you teaching this kid? All right. What? All right. I mean, I really don't understand any of this. And it's really heartbreaking. All right. You see others that, you know, they cut off all their hair and you're like, you're not sure what's going on. And a girl who's a senior in high school, like when I was a senior back then, I mean, she might have been insecure and everything, but, you know, we just went on with it. It was about being a teenager. It was about, you know, playing Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses so loud you piss off your hippie brothers and sisters, you know. It's about going to dances and, being bothered by geeky boys you didn't want to dance with. It's about, hanging out watching MTV. That's what it was when I was a kid. And now for kids now, it's staring at this, being anxious, being upset about everything, and not being able to figure out how to get away with it and from it. It's about not talking to your parents, looking at your phone, right? And it's heartbreaking. And look, I've said this before, I'll say this again. When that balloon went over the country, 60,000 feet in the air, a very good way to deliver an electromagnetic pulse weapon, which is basically a hydrogen bomb in the atmosphere. And what that is going to do is shut off the electrical grid for most of the country. Okay, then what will people who are so married to the internet that they can't relate to anybody else do? Okay, they're like this, and it's disgusting. We have a world that's addicted to their phones, and it's like no good can come of this. But let's go back and talk about this. So, I'm going to address this person who is accusing me of being a black pill. I am not a black pill. Okay, never have been, never will be. I don't know why someone would say that unless they're just lashing out at me for basically calling people out who are and who aren't adding anything vital to the conversation. Look, when I've got people asking me, is this true or not? And I have to get up in the middle of the night, go on the internet, and read about it in order to educate myself because I have no fucking idea what's being talked about. And then I'm like, no, not as far as I know. It's not. Even if you do put, well, this is a rumor and we're just speculating, people are still going to walk away thinking it's real. And really, there's, I think, enough pop culture news out there to not talk about it. Well, Kenobi was great. I loved it. Episode 6, Ask Maze, that scene where Anakin's mask breaks and he basically says to Obi-Wan, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did. With that crazy look on his face. That was heartbreaking because Obi-Wan's like, because that's his brother. That's his best friend. Okay. And he's lost. It's like seeing someone very happy being in the 9th level of hell, And if you walk away from it saying it wasn't good, I don't know what to tell you, And all right, let's go back to the Book of Boba Fett. Not the best. I could have lived without the Skittles biker gang. I look at Robert Rodriguez and go, what the fuck? Um, the beginning, the first 2 episodes where he's being adopted into the Tusken Raiders tribe was right out of A Man Called Horse, not Dances with Wolves. Okay. But again, I have to remember there are people out there that have never seen A Man Called Horse and don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Not my fault. All right. Because I know where that came from. And the movie's on pay-per-view. It's on demand. You can rent it. You can watch it for $4. And then you'll understand where I'm coming from on that. And I thought, despite the Skittles biker gang, that it was pretty good. And it's you know, we're leading up to Mandalorian, and that trailer has been getting absolute boffo hits on views on YouTube, and it's great. I think, look, I think when you think about Star Wars, you've got the woke part where the sequel trilogy is, and the High Republic. Yeah, it is. It rhymes. You got the High Republic, and that stuff is failing. All right. Now you've got Mandalorian season 3 coming, and it looks fantastic. Like, all right, what is that fighter pilot's name? I don't know who he's talking to. It might even be Mon Mothma or somebody, because she is, Genevieve O'Reilly is rumored to be on an episode. It could be Leia. It could be Skywalker he's talking to. But basically, he says there's something going on out there, and if you don't look into it, it's going to be too late. All right, now, when they finally, we haven't heard anything about Ahsoka. Hopefully, we'll get an idea of when they're going to release it. Skeleton Crew is wrapped, by the way, and we'll probably get an idea maybe of when they're going to release that. But it looks to me like they're starting to overwrite things. Okay, look, let's talk about stuff in the sequel trilogy that's already been decanonized. Anybody can be a Jedi. Where was that decanonized? And Kenobi. When, what's his face, the pilot says, my wife basically says to Obi-Wan, my wife was a Jedi. She was force sensitive. I tried to protect her, but they got her anyway. And Indira Varma's character Tala saying that she took part in basically what was genocidal massacre of families of force sensitive kids. There you go. Okay. So anybody can be a Jedi is now dead. All right. And that was killed in Obi-Wan Kenobi, because look, anybody can be a Jedi is bullshit. And that's J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson not understanding at all the Force or what George was trying to create. If you want to know where a lot of the sequel trilogy bullshit started, it started within the community that hates the prequels. Midichlorians, yeah, yeah, and you're right. And it runs in families. I believe, wasn't there a Green Jedi? I think this is EU, way back in the Wayback Machine on Corellia, that was actually, the last name was Solo. I could see him having a Jedi forefather or two. You know. Anyway, what I want to talk about is that was a big deal. Okay, that was a big deal, and to have them democratize, equitize. We'll go the fascist route. Equitize the Force. They didn't like midichlorians. I remember JJ saying, "Oh, we won't mention midichlorians." Why? Here's the deal. When you go to sleep at night and you're dreaming, do you think maybe your brain and the world we don't understand are kind of doing this? You know? Like stress can give you a heart attack. Being depressed can cause all kinds of health problems. Your emotions and the world around you dictate a lot of your physical faculties, okay? And When George came up with the midichlorians, he wanted to make people understand that Jedi really are special. And there's nothing wrong with being special like that. People who aren't Jedi are special. Okay. It's just the Force manifested itself within their bodies to create a symbiotic relationship. Okay. That's why the midichlorians exist. And when JJ decided, and Bob Iger, because I hate midichlorians, do you even know what they are? No. When Bob Iger and those guys decided to do away with that lore, it ruined Star Wars. But a lot of prequel haters liked that. And this is where it all began. Prequel hate is where the sequel trilogy began. Okay, and look, I don't think these people hated the prequels as much as they hated George Lucas. So, fucking up Han Solo because alpha male white man was something they'd want to do. Fucking up Luke Skywalker because alpha male white man who bears the creator's name is something they would do. Think about it. Think about it. Let me explain something. When Luke was milking the sea cow, that was George Lucas. That was a metaphor for Lucas milking Star Wars for billions. That's what that was. Because the milk is green, and what color is money? Green. Okay, think about it. These little left-wing fascists think they're so cool. It's like, I know what you're doing. Fuck you. But each and every little bit that Favreau and Filoni chip away at it makes it better. And there's a light at the end of the tunnel. When Kamran on his Patreon put his stuff up on the Patreon about Rey, don't be surprised if they give her a heroic out. Okay, I wouldn't care. As long as I walk away saying the sequel trilogy is no more. Okay? And we get Jason Solo and Jaina and, Ben Skywalker if we must, and Mara Jade and, all those great characters that came in from the EU that actually meant something to people. I think it would be great. And no, Mara Jade should be a redhead, a white woman. And so just to warn Disney, don't blackwash Mara Jade. All right, we're done. We're done with blackwashing red-haired women and gingers. All right, it's not done anymore. But I'm optimistic. I am not a black pill. I don't understand why anybody would say that about me. Keep me out of your conversations. All right, stay off my channel. All right, and have fun wallowing in your misery about not getting everything you want in the world. All right, look, these are people that even if we get rid of the sequel trilogy, if they see Rey basically cut off from her own timeline and disappearing, they will still be mad because they saw Rey. I mean, this is what we're dealing with. I don't know. Anyway, I'll probably be on Sci-Fi for You in the chat watching the earnings call. And, tomorrow I'll probably give you my 2 cents. But I'm not going to come back tonight because I got to go to my mom-in-law's house for my husband's birthday. And really, when I get back, I guarantee you this thing will not feel good. And I'm probably just going to go to bed. Okay. So, talk to y'all tomorrow morning. And, we'll see where this goes. Oh, and if you want to find me on Twitter, it's at Janasek__m. All right. Steph, signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.